Come away from there, Maud.
Yes, miss, do, please.
Come over here with me, Maud.
He appears to have suffered a contusion at the base of the skull.
Is he alive?
Oh dear!
I'm afraid not.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, Bertie!
It's all right, darling.
Good God. What has happened?
First things first. Is there anyone else in the house?
Myself, my wife, my daughter and her husband, my son and his wife, and Maud and Miss Edwards.
What about the waitstaff?
Harris.
It's only Mercy, Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Martin,
Grigsby.
Mr. Gribsby, and myself.
And all are accounted for?
Yes, sir.
Just a moment. Where's Constance?
She was still a mad lightheaded, so she stayed back in the drawing room to keep an eye on Miss Edwards.
And the pressing query seems to be, who is this poor soul who lies dead before us? Mr. Harris, help me turn him over.
Oh my heavens!
Poor fellow.
Yes, but who is he?
Holy Mary, Mother of God, it's the real Philip Martin.
What do you know? It appears to be your lucky night after all.
How is it you have this information, Mr. McCarthy?
He showed up not too long ago. I had planned on telling Mr. Harris straight away.
But you didn't.
Dear boy, I can't believe this.
I don't know what are you...
Patrick! No, Patrick! No, Patrick! Why couldn't you listen to me?
I'm afraid you're mistaken, miss. That is, Philip Martin.
No, his name is Patrick Sullivan, and he was my husband.
I feel as though I'm on a merry-go-round that I can't exit.
Aye. And it's anything but merry.
Listen up, all of you. I'd like to ask all of the ladies to please head back into the drawing room with Miss...
Her name's Mercy. Inspector.
Very good. Thank you, Mercy. Gentlemen, if I could get 3 volunteers to assist me here.
If I will help in any way I can.
George!
Not to worry, my dear. Bertie and Mr. Harris are not at full strength.
I'll help, Inspector.
I'd like to help, if I may.
What about me?
You should tend to Constance, Cyril. We have everything under control.
Once you're all in there, lock the door and wait for our return.
But where are you going?
I must search for evidence. The others shall close off the space as to not to disturb the scene. Once all is secure, we shall return to you in the drawing room.
But there may well be a murderer amok.
I assure you, miss, I will bring the criminal to justice. I always do.
Oh my.
Very well then. Let us all keep a cool head and a calm heart. For that is the only way we will ever get to the bottom of this murder at Cheltenham Manor.
I can't believe it.
It's all right, Mother.
The hell it is.
Bertie.
She owes us an explanation, Maud.
Your brother's right.
I'm sorry to break up this family picnic, but has anyone seen my wife?
Mercy, I thought that you said that Lady Constance remained here with Miss Edwards.
That's right.
Well then, where is she?
I don't know, sir. I was the last one out, you see. But I ducked back in to make sure that Lady Constance and Miss Edwards were all right before joining you in the hall.
So she stayed with you, Evelyn?
Yes. She was still here when I left.
Well, I'm going to look for her.
Do you think that's wise? The inspector told us to wait here.
Well, I'm not going to let my wife wander around while there's a maniac on the loose.
Never fear. In a contest between a maniac and Constance, I'll place my bet on the latter.
Bertie, this is no time for joking.
For once, I agree with you.
Fine. Then let us circle back to you, Mother dear.
Forgive me, Lord Bertram, but I think perhaps...
I'm afraid whatever forgiveness I had left has already been spent this evening.
Oh, Bertram, that is enough. Your sister is unaccounted for, and some poor soul has just been murdered in our front hall. This is no time for sour grapes.
I see. Well, if you'll excuse me.
Bertie, please.
You're probably the only one who would actually miss me. Of course, not for the reason I would wish. Harris, kindly let me out.
Mr. Harris, please go and make sure that my son is safe.
But what about you, my lady?
Oh, I have swum against stronger tides than these. Now, go, please.
Very well, Mum. Mercy, lock this door and give this key to no one. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir. Hurry back, sir.
Well then, shall we have some music? Oh, Maud, would you be a dear and put Mummy's favourite on the phonograph?
Thank you, gentlemen. Much obliged.
My pleasure, sir.
If there's anything else I can do to help.
Haven't you already done enough?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Grigsby, is it?
Yes, sir. Simon Grigsby, sir.
Kindly dispose of these, and then meet us directly in the drawing room.
Do you need both of us to go?
Oh, yes. No one should be left alone tonight.
As you wish, sir.
Inspector, I think I should tell you.
Come along, Simon. The sooner we take out the garbage, the sooner we can join the others.
Inspector, have you found anything?
Nothing notable, Lord Dalton.
What a night.
Forgive my candour, sir. But have you any idea who might have wanted to hurt this man?
No. For heaven's sakes, no. Why? I've never even met this Mr. Sullivan.
Yes, of course.
We should probably return to the drawing room.
Yes. It does seem odd, though.
What's that?
Well, unless I'm mistaken, up until your house guest identified the victim as Patrick Sullivan, your gardener, along with several of your other house guests, believed him to be someone else.
That's so.
That is how it appeared to me, at least.
I reiterate, until coming upon this corpse, I never even met the man. I can only speak for myself, though.
Yes, of course. I mean no offense. I'm simply trying to gather the facts.
None taken. But I have a question for you.
I'm obliged to answer any and all questions you may have.
Just the one.
And what might that be?
How is it exactly that you knew Mr. McCarthy to be my gardener?
There you are.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Cyril. Cyril, wake up. Oh, wake up, my darling. Cyril, how is it you always seem to be in the wrong place at the right time? Help! Help! Can someone help us, please? benefit to my family. Always there when you don't want them and never there when you do. You stay right there. I'm going for help. I'll be back in a flash, my darling. Cyril?
Those things will kill you, you know.
I'm afraid they'll have to get in line tonight. What are you doing out here? You should be with the others.
Your mother was concerned. She wanted I should look after you.
Was she? Well, by all means, go and report back that unfortunately I'm still alive and well, and leave me alone.
Very good, sir.
Wait. Why have you always let me be so awful to you, Henry?
I don't know. Someone being awful to you is better than no one being anything, I suppose.
Well, if that's not the most depressing answer I've ever heard, I don't know what is.
Besides, you aren't always awful to me.
Aren't I?
No, sir. Just most of the time.
Well, it appears that you've learned something from me after all. Oh, and by the way, if you're going to insult me, you can at least call me by my name. It's ironic, isn't it?
What's that?
All these years of resenting my father for his aversion to faithfulness. And it turns out I'm guilty of the same offense.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You've had a rough road to travel, and despite it, I've always seen the good in you.
I envy you.
Hey, what are you two doing down here?
One might ask the same of you.
The inspector had us put out some garbage.
You seem to have forgotten something.
I mean no disrespect, sir, but you oughtn't speak to him like that. The lad's done nothing wrong.
I'm sure you'd have me believe that.
And why is that?
It is quite plain to me that the two of you are working together.
Is that so?
I do hope we can put aside our differences, brother.
Hold your tongue.
I only meant...
I don't know what kind of game you think you're running, or what kind of fool you believe me to be, but rest assured, there is only one head to wear the crown, and in this house, that head rests firmly upon these shoulders.
At the risk of ruffling your plumage, I do believe that honor belongs to our father.
Oh, no.
How dare you?
Mr. Walker!
Are you all right, sir?
He's bleeding.
Good Lord! Cyril, what's happened to you?
He's got her! He's got Constance!
Then what happened after dinner?
We resigned here to the drawing room.
And everyone was here?
Yes.
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 No.
And where were you, miss?
I was cleaning up after dinner, and I went downstairs to see that Mrs. Knievely was all finished up.
And who is Mrs. Knievely?
That's our cook.
And where is she now?
She doesn't sleep here.
She shares a small cottage at the outskirts of the estate.
Once she left, I made myself a cup of tea. Mr. McCarthy and I had a chat and a biscuit, and I went up to my room.
What about you, miss?
Mrs. Davies Dalton.
Mrs. Davies Dalton.
Well, as George, Lord Dalton stated, after dinner we retired here, and when Maud was feeling better, I escorted Mrs. Edwards to her room.
Feeling better? What happened?
I just got worked up is all.
Maud is prone to blackouts. It's happened ever since she was a baby.
It's quite unnerving.
And how is that for you, Maud?
Oh, I don't feel a thing. That is, until I come to.
And do you remember anything that happens during these blackouts?
No, not a thing.
I see. And then what happened next?
Once I returned, we had a chat about some family business.
Anything I should know about?
No, it was all rather... what do you call it, dear?
Run of the mill.
Yes, it was all rather run-of-the-mill.
And then we went to bed.
Until midnight, when the power went out and a shot was fired.
A shot?
Yes, someone tried to kill my husband.
Why would someone want to kill him?
I couldn't say.
Mercy! Mercy! Let us in, quickly!
I haven't got the key. Mr. Harris handed it to me. I put it right here in my apron. Someone snatched it.
There's a spare in the desk.
Cyril, what's happened to you?
He was attacked.
By whom?
Well, technically, it was Constance.
What on earth are you talking about? Well, where is she?
He's got her.
Who's got her?
Philip. Simon. Patrick.
What are you talking about, you lush? Patrick is dead.
No, he isn't. I saw him wrap his hands around her and drag her into the night. I came to and stumbled into the others.
And when we heard the shot, we came up right away.
Shot? What shot?
I don't think I can take much more.
One thing at a time. We must get to the bottom of who shot Lord Bertram.
Isn't it obvious? It must have been this Patrick fellow.
It wasn't Patrick.
And how do you know that?
Because I shot him.
Oh, I can't take any more.
Inspector Wallace, this is all my fault.
Your fault.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Evelyn, please.
Tell them, Mercy.
Evelyn, don't.
I can't keep it up any longer. If you won't tell them, I will. I'm not who I say I am.
What?
Am I the only person here not pretending to be someone else?
Then who are you?
My name is Evelyn, but I go by Eve. Eve Crenshaw. I'm an actress.
It can't be true. It just can't.
Eve Crenshaw. I thought you looked familiar.
I'm sorry, Maud. I'm truly sorry.
Why would you come here and deceive us all like this, especially poor Maud?
I brought her here. I needed a reason to bring Simon here. So I hired Miss Crenshaw to pose as Miss Edwards. Simon had no idea what he was getting involved in. I hired him as her driver. But when he showed up at the door and we were in need of a valet, I kind of switched the plan a bit. I dropped a note to Eve, Evelyn, so she'd know.
Do you really expect us to believe that?
It's true, I swear.
Then why, if he had nothing to gain, would he shoot me?
I didn't mean to shoot you.
Young man, if not Lord Bertram, who was your intended target?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Just that 'twas dark, you see, on account of the power out. I was on my way to Lord Bertram's room.
Why were you headed up to his room so late?
Never mind that. Carry on, Simon.
Like I said, I was heading to his room, but when I reached the top of the stair, I saw a man standing at Lord Bertram's door, pointing a gun at it. That's when the power went out. I dropped the tea and ran towards him. I managed to get the gun away from him, but the gun went off, and the man ran down the hall. I heard Mr. Walker coming, and I got scared, so I dropped the gun and ducked into the room across the hall until the coast was clear.
That's why the bullet didn't strike me. You saved my life.
Examine the gun. There'll be 2 sets of fingerprints, I promise you that.
Go and get it, George.
But it's not here.
You locked it in your office. Remember, dear?
But I didn't.
Why not?
I was about to, but we heard Maud scream from the hallway, so I left the gun here.
What are you all still doing up?
Constance, You're alive!
I'm sorry to disappoint you all.
But I thought he'd taken you.
Who?
Philip. Patrick. Patrick Philip. The man from the hall.
The dead man. You thought the dead man took me away?
I saw him with my own eyes.
Darling, I think you finally have had too much to drink.
No, I saw him take you. I know I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, what do you know?
I know I poisoned him. That's what I know.
Maud!
I poisoned him. Just a little.
Why, Maud? Why?
I just wanted him to love me. So I asked Mr. McCarthy for something from the garden. So I poisoned his drink. Just enough to cause a hallucination. So he would think I was her.
I can't believe it.
I told you there was more than meets the eye.
Then where is Patrick?
What do you mean, where is he? Last time I checked, corpses weren't exactly quick on their feet.
He's still here.
And he's still dead.
But why is he no longer on his back? Cyril, help me turn him over.
Well, he's certainly dead now.
That'll be my men. Listen, I want all of you to give your statements and then get some rest.
I don't know if I will ever rest again.
I know you've all had a long night.
I don't know that I'll feel safe enough to close my eyes.
There's nothing to fear. Everyone is here. My men will secure the premises and keep watch over all of you.
Wouldn't you rather speak with us all tonight?
The likelihood of you remembering any details in your current state is unlikely.
He's right. We should get some rest, so we're fresh for the morning.
Exactly. I'm going to visit all of you individually tomorrow, so we can finally suss out this murderous fiend. Good night, and try and get some rest. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. My, with so many revelations unearthed, my head is spinning, much like poor Cyril. I wonder, though, that hallucination of his, it seemed rather coherent at times. I could use some help trying to decipher its authenticity. What do you think Cyril's hallucination was? A drug-induced dream? B, an actual abduction? C, a cover for a more sinister story? Please email your inclinations to me and join us next week where we may meet a new face or two. Only 2 more episodes to arrive at the correct outcome. But whatever you do, remember, never was there a butchery as beastly as the murder at Cheltenham Manor.